our garbage bowl. I'm going to show you a couple things though just real quick because not everything you would need this garbage bowl for. Say you're going to be measuring some cloves and we need a fourth a teaspoon of cloves. The one cool thing about this is this side right here. We can just stick our measuring spoon inside of it and it levels it off. We're using the side of our container for that. Same thing if we have the bigger containers. Okay, they'll fit right in there too. One of the downfalls though is what if we need a tablespoon of cloves? I'll show you this. Actually, I'm going to use the teaspoon. If we need a teaspoon of cloves, it doesn't fit inside here. So what I'm going to ask you to do is take the top off. And then as you, can everyone see with the mirror? Okay. You can put it in there, but then as you pull it out, try to make sure you get as much inside of the container and not on the outside of it. Okay, so that's just another way to do it. Sometimes we still do, but usually when we measure things out here, we wouldn't use the garbage bowl. You can get it right back inside there. Okay, back to what we're doing. Got to put our vanilla in there. And I'm going to move this stuff out of the way so you guys can see. I don't need to measure anything else, but we do need our rubber scraper. Move our vanilla out of the way. Okay, so we need to cream these. It says in a large mixture until creamy, and this is what I want to show you. And I'll try to keep it underneath the mirror for you. Okay, we're going to stop. Because what we talk about with the side of what we're going to do with this rubber scraper. Yeah. Scrape those sides down. You remember, scrape that goodness down. There's still chunks of brown sugar in here, so obviously this is not ready. A lot of people will just say, oh, we've mixed long enough, we're done. And when you really want to cream butter, that's not long enough. Okay, just one good thing about the Mix Masters is it moves like this for you, so you don't have to use your hand. If you've used a Mix Master before, this little thing here just rotates for you. For me, I got to use the bowl and arms and hand power to it. Kind of make sure all that brown sugar gets broken up. Really make sure that butter gets nice and light and fluffy to cream it together. Now again, I might have to stop, scrape the sides of the bowl down. Okay, that's almost there. The way I can tell is, one, can you kind of see the difference of the texture? It was kind of grainy before when I was mixing it up, and now it's starting to get a little smooth. I still have some chunks of brown sugar in there, so I'm going to make sure that I get those, break it down a little bit more. But it's almost like if you wanted to spread, think about creamy, maybe some cream cheese, butter that's already like room temperature, and you can spread it. That's a really good way to think of it as being creamy. Something that you could spread, as you can see inside there. That would be something I could spread out. So we'll do it just a little bit longer. Now, can you see that even the color has changed from when we first started doing it? It's kind of a lighter color now. Okay, this is a really good, nice, light and fluffy, and it's a total different color than what we started with. How long do you think that took me to do? 2 minutes. About 2 minutes. Okay, so when you're going to cream that butter, it's not just that 30 seconds, oh, we're okay, let's keep adding ingredients. It is a true, like a 2-minute process for that. Now it says that we need to add eggs one at a time to make sure that they get mixed up really well inside there. So we'll add our first egg. scrape the sides of the bowl down just in case there's some yolk or anything of the white that's still there. And then we're going to add our second egg into it. Nope, come on, don't fail me now. You can even tell just by adding even some more ingredients to it how nice, light, and fluffy it still gets. Make sure we scrape the sides down. Then it says, gradually beat in the flour mixture. All right, well here's my question for you. If I was to pour all this flour in at once, what do you think is going to happen? Yes, Chase?
Pour it all in at once and then try to mix it. No.
Yeah, we're going to be weighing it. Okay? So I would recommend you do about half of it. Start low. Get those beaters right in the middle. Well, what you'll do is drop your beaters down. Start it at a 1 or a 2. You know, work it in there slowly. Okay? We don't want to overmix it. And then scrape the sides down. Because we want to make sure to get that other flour that's sitting at the bottom in there. Oops. Okay, then I would say add the rest of it. So probably in 2 steps you can get all the flour you need inside there. Oop, a little bit came out. So the hand mixer you can kind of get into the corners of things. A little bit better than the mix masters you can do. Okay, so scrape our sides. Really make sure all that flour is blended in there. And it is. Okay, just see it. I got a piece of hair. When I turn my head, I got a piece of hair in my mouth. And even though I know my hair is clean because I took a shower today, doesn't mean it doesn't have any dust or dirt or from walking from outside to here or anything like that. So I want to make sure you wash your hands after you touch your hair. Another reason why my hair is too short to put in a ponytail, but all of those people who have long hair, if you want to bring in a ponytail and to keep here, I'll put it in a baggie with your name on it, and then we store them up on top. Then you always, I have this container on top of my fridge, then you always know it'll be here for you. You'll never have to forget. The only kind of rubber bands that I have are like the kind of rubber bands you put around paper, and those don't feel very good when you're trying to take them out. So if you remember to bring one, we'll just always keep it here. Another reason why my hair is too short, but if any time that we see when you go down and you're constantly like trying to move your bangs out of the way, then I'll ask you to bring in little clippies. Because like I got a little clippy in my hair. The reason why is I'm not saying that you didn't shower today, but no one wants to eat something, and because the first thing that we do is share cookies, we share cupcakes. And no one wants to eat something that someone's continually like rubbing their hands through. I think everyone for hygiene purposes would agree with me that we want to keep everything as clean as we can. So I'm not saying you don't shower, but. Okay, then the next step says is to add our chocolate chunks and to stir in. So I'm going to use this just on a lower speed so we don't break those chocolate chunks up. It's easier though for me to stir them on a slow speed with the beaters to get them evenly distributed than it is for me to use there we go. Than it is for me to use the rubber scraper. Now, here's something that we need to talk about. You're going to use your rubber scraper to scrape these beaters. Are you at home when you're here cooking in my room? No. What would you do if you were at home?
Eat it.
Yeah. Well, you're going to have to try your hardest not to eat it. If I see you eating raw cookie dough, you will get a 0, and you cannot redo this lab. That's the only way that you get a 0 with this lab. Well, there's 2 ways. Let me take that back. One is to eat it. because we have to protect ourselves here. Just like the health department comes through our kitchen to make sure that they don't have bugs and that they're following the safety rules, I had to take what's called a safe serve test to know that I'm teaching you guys the proper ways to do it too. So when they come and go through our kitchen, they'll stop in here and see if we're doing things. If we might not be cooking that day, which so far we haven't been cooking the days they've come, but they'll still check to see the temperatures in my refrigerator. They'll check to make sure that I properly have like the flour and sugar in containers and things like that. So I have to ask you is not to. I mean, isn't this tempting just to want to lick this? I bet it is. It's on my hands. Well, one, I don't because I don't want to get salmonella, just in case. There could be an egg that goes through. But two, I have to, or I want to model the correct behavior. So please, and please, 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 don't be like, well, she's not looking. We can sneak a bite. Because it's not going to work. Because most of the time, you don't have gum, and if I see you chewing on something, I'm going to ask you. And, oh my goodness, I hope you're going to be honest with me and just say, yeah, I took a bite. And it'll be a bummer, but just try not to do it. I know it's hard. If you want to make cookies for your final, I have had students bake cookies at home, and then they'll make the batter just like this, and they'll use egg beaters. Now we can eat. If these cookies had egg beaters, I would be like passing this around. Because remember, egg beaters have been processed, what we call pasteurized. Having a brain fart. It's been pasteurized to a high temperature to kill all that bacteria. Now another thing it says here, the two things you're graded on, not eating cookie dough and the shape of your cookies. These say to drop by rounded tablespoons. Well, this is about a tablespoon, so we're going to go ahead and use it. I do have some cookie scoops, but they're not very good, so I'm going to grab some other ones. And they say to do about 2 inches apart. So everyone will have their new cookie sheets in their kitchens. Now, some of your cookies that you have to do, it says to roll by hand. Those are called molded cookies. These are what we call drop cookies. And we'll go through what there's 6 different types of categories for cookies. This is about 2 inches apart on our cookie sheet. Okay? Yeah, we don't have a lot of cookies, we can't fit a lot on here, but at least when they bake, they're not going to bake into each other, and they're going to have uniform size. And that was the whole thing. You don't want cookies that are different shapes because they won't cook the same. They won't cook evenly. Oh, that looks a little on the big side. Take a little bit off. Okay, scooped a little bit too much that time. So we want to make sure that they're uniform size. This I will walk around to make sure all your cookies look about their same size. Now, if you don't want to use a scoop, because it says to measure by tablespoons, this is another way to do it. You could use your tablespoon, use your metal spatula, and scoop them out. So it's about the same shape, or same size, wouldn't you say? They look pretty even. Don't get them too close on your cookie sheet. You don't want the sides to drip off and start a fire in my ovens, because that has happened before. Okay, anybody have a question? Okay, let's talk about just real quick, how are we going to measure flour? Just do a quick review.
Spoon lightly.
Spoon it and
Don't pack
don't pack
it.
it. And we're going to do what with it after we spoon it into our measuring cup?
Level it up.
Level it off with the metal spatula. How are we going to measure sugar?
Spoon it.
Granulated sugar, white sugar. Spoon it. How are we going to measure brown sugar?
Spoon it.
Yeah, you don't have to spoon it. You're going to use the side of the container and pack it in there. One thing that I didn't talk to you guys about, and I'll make sure that you're going to have a cookie to try, is measuring any type of liquid. What does it say to measure liquid? On your piece of paper.
Right, liquid measure on a flat surface.
Yep, we're going to place it on a flat surface. You're going to get down to eye level. So yes, you're going to have to scoot yourselves down and I need 1/3 of a cup. And then you're going to measure till you get 1/3 of a cup. Okay? But you got to have it on a flat surface. If we had it held up here, you know, it's all jiggly. Some of you don't have very, you know, solid hands. Maybe your hands shake or something like that. And so you're not going to get the same results. Flat surface, bend yourself over, get down on eye level, and measure it that way. All right? I think that's it. We went over just